understand English, everyone? Vous comprenez anglais? No? What language you understand?
French.
Français.
Portuguese. Italian.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what language is it.
It matters a little bit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, text number 9. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan.
Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan.
Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan.
Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan.
Piturgehat Vrajangataha.
Piturgehat Vrajangataha.
Piturgehat Vrajangataha.
Piturgehat Vrajangataha.
Kvavasangyativihi sardham.
Kvavasangyativihi sardham.
Kvavasangyativihi sardham.
Kvavasangyativihi sardham.
Kritavan sattvatam patihi.
Kritavan sattvatam patihi.
Kritavan sattvatam patihi.
Kritavan sattvatam patihi.
Kasma
Or patir. No, it says patir.
patihi. Patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan.
Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan.
Piturgehat Vrajangataha. Vavasangyativihi sardham. Kritavan sattvatam patihi. Tasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehat Vrajangataha. Kvavasangyativihi sardham. Kritavan sattvatam patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehat Vrajangataha. Kvavasangyativihi sardham. Kritavan sattvatam patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehat Vrajangataha. Sadham. Kritavan sattvatam patihi. Ladies? Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehat Vrajangataha. Kvavasangyativihi sardham. Kritavan sattvatam patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan Piturgehad Vrajangataha Kvava Sangyatipihi Sardham Kritavan Satvatang Patihi Kasmat. Why? Mukundaha Krishna, who can award liberation to everyone. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pituhu, of his father, Vasudeva. Krishna is Vasudeva. That's not written here. And his father is Vasudeva, short A. There's a difference. Gehat, from the house. Vrajam, to Vrajadham. Vrajabhumi. Gataha, went. Kva, where. Vasam, placed himself to live. Gyatibihi, his relatives. Sardham, with. Kritavan, did so. Sattvatam Patihi, the master of all Vaishnava devotees. Translation. Why did Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leave the house of his father, Vasudeva, and transfer himself to the house of Nanda in Vrindavan? Where did the Lord, the master of the Yadu dynasty, live with his relatives in Vrindavan? Purport. These are inquiries about the itinerary of Krishna. Just after his birth, in the house of Vasudeva in Madhura, Krishna transferred himself to Gokul on the other side of the Yamuna. And after some days, he moved with his father, mother, and other relatives to Nandagram, Vrindavan. Maharaj Parikshit was very much eager to hear about Krishna's activities in Vrindavan. This entire canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is full of activities performed in Vrindavan and Dwaraka. The first 40 chapters describe Krishna's Vrindavan affairs, and the next 50 describe Krishna's activities in Dwaraka. Maharaj Parikshit, to fulfill his desire to hear about Krishna, requested Shukadeva Goswami to describe these activities in full detail. Omagnaghasya Ginandina Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitan Jena Tasmaya Sri Gurave Namaha Srimate Smita Krishna Swami iti namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Pastatadi Person who Yayocha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So I'll speak So this is the process of purification to hear about Krishna. And in the nectar of instruction, which I have here, it is said, I will just read this paragraph. It's the preface of the nectar of instruction, where Prabhupada says, Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction, to follow. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh sorry, that was the wrong place. Yeah, this is the right paragraph. This is also about purification, about following the process of Krishna consciousness. So, Prabhupada says, in all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Gun, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. And then this last part I will read now is very interesting. So if you follow this, then Prabhupada says, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. So here we are reading about Krishna in Vrindavan, which is a very high topic. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit, down to earth, down to my level maybe. So we want to make progress in life, in all spheres of life. We want to make advancement. Right? Do you want to make advancement? I want to make advancement. Now we may not be on the level of just making spiritual advancement, so we might also want to make some material advancement. So we can make advancement on different levels. But first of all, we should be concerned with making advancement in Krishna consciousness. And if we do that, everything else will be supplied. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Kshema Vahami Aham. And that means everything you have already, Krishna will preserve. He will make sure you will not lose what you already have. And everything that you need, He will give. So there are two things, protection and giving whatever you don't have that you need. So Ravindra Sarup, he says that this yoga kshema, this is actually a business expression. That Vaishyas, they say, yoga kshema, when they meet each other, which means may you have connections. Yoga means connection. We are connecting with Krishna. But it also just means, in general, connection. So if you're a businessman, you want many connections. So Krishna makes sure we have all the right connections, and especially the connection to him. And many other connections are there. We can say that many doors will be opened for us when we please Krishna. He will open many doors. And maybe first we have to open the door of our heart. That's the first door. And but he will also open other doors. Maybe we can skip the side conversations, Giri? He doesn't care. Anyway. No, he's not. Obviously not hearing what I'm saying. Anyway. I'm just a junior. So, he can say he's a senior. So, first, we have to first open our ears also. We have to hear what Krishna is saying. Krishna is always speaking to us, but we are blocking our ears. We hear what he says, and we know, oh, he said that, but then we are thinking, I don't want to follow that. It must have been someone else. It's not Krishna, or whatever. We don't want to hear what Krishna says, or we think, I know better. This is how we are thinking. Or we may listen to someone who might claim to represent Krishna or whatever. There's so many ways we can become deviated. But if we are actually sincere, Krishna will send the right persons to give us instructions. So everything in concerning how to make progress, that can be revealed. It's a revelation. If we come to the mode of goodness. And right now we are mostly in the modes of passion and ignorance, which has an effect on us. We can see the modes of nature, well, in nature. The mode of passion is creation, and also especially sexual activity, which in a normal society means you have babies. Nowadays it's not connected anymore. But normally it means creation, it means procreation. Mode of passion. Mode of ignorance, destruction. Destruction, decay, so basically creation, destruction, and mode of goodness is maintenance. Everything is stable. We can say also springtime is the mode of passion. All the animals are mating. Everybody is happy after the winter. They want to get out. Maybe they're also happy that there are no COVID restrictions. We went to the Festival of the Roses in Chedigny. There was a festival this weekend. The Festival of the Rose. So many people were coming. They want to get out. And the mode of Summer is the mode of goodness, I guess. Everything is stable for a while, and then autumn, winter, mode of ignorance. Destruction, decay, everything, the leaves fall off the trees. So that's the modes of nature, but they also have a psychological effect on us. So if we are in the mode of passion, we are very, very busy, making money, building, creating things. Mode of ignorance, we are lazy. We just stay in the couch. You become a couch potato. You know this? If you're just sitting in your couch, in your sofa, you are a couch potato. You don't know this expression. So, a mode of goodness, we don't see very much in the West anymore. If you really want to see the mode of goodness, you have to go to India. And maybe Russia, this part of the world. But especially in India. People are much more in the mode of goodness than we are. So how do we get to the mode of goodness from the modes of passion and ignorance? Well, in the Kali Yuga, there is only one way, by chanting the holy names of Krishna, individually and collectively. In previous ages, you could come to the mode of goodness by, we can say, by your own effort, by practicing some severe type of yoga. In this age, it is not possible to practice mystic yoga, meditation. All these practices are typical for Kali Yuga people like us. So Krishna has given something easy for us to follow, that we can all follow. And if we follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga, then we will, even without our own endeavor, we will come to the mode of goodness automatically. And in the mode of goodness, another sign of the mode of goodness is clearness. Everything becomes clear in your mind. You understand what you're supposed to be doing, because we are supposed to be doing something specifically that we are supposed to be doing. We each have a nature that we are born with a certain nature, which means we are actually born with certain duties also. It's connected. Our nature and our duties are intimately connected. So this is not the modern understanding that we have a nature. The modern understanding is that we can do anything we want, anything. If you want to be a professor, you can do it. Or if you want to be a jet pilot, you can do it. Anything you want. And it doesn't matter who you are. There's some truth to that. With training, you can do a lot, but there's a limit. So let's say maybe you can become, I don't know. You can either do this or you can do that, but you have to choose. Maybe you can become a salesman, or you can become someone who works in an office, for example. They are not so far from each other. So you can choose from different things, but generally we have a nature which you cannot go so much out of, because Krishna's energy is very powerful. So the best thing is to follow our nature um, and engage ourselves in Krishna's service with the propensities that we have. This is the best course, that you become happy also if you engage yourself in what you like to do, we can say. But that does not mean, okay, we just do what we like to do all the time. What do you like to do? I like to eat prasadam. This is my service. That's not the only thing we should do, of course. We have to do things we don't like also. And that is the meaning of duty. There are many unpleasant situations that we have to go through. But if you just always in the unpleasant situation, then maybe you should think, okay, maybe I have to adjust my life. Maybe I have to change my situation. That may require some courage, or definitely that requires some guidance. And the brahmanas, or the teachers, they're supposed to guide us in our life so that we can be very happily engaged in our daily duties, and ultimately we should be serving Krishna. And when we are sincere, Krishna will open the doors for us and reveal to us, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes we also have to do something, do an effort ourselves. Okay, this is what I want to do. Not just that, okay, someone just gives orders. You do this, you do this. Sometimes you may have a desire for Krishna. I want to do this service for Krishna. So there's the desire coming from yourself and Krishna's desires. And these can be combined. We can serve Krishna out of our own desire also, not just, okay, wash the pots. If all the time you're just getting orders, that may not be so fulfilling. We also may want to do something that is coming from our own heart. There is room for being spontaneous in Krishna consciousness, even in the beginning levels. In the beginning, we may be more restricted. Okay, now you're getting trained up and you just follow what I tell you. But later, even for the boss, we can say, the one who is giving instructions, it's much nicer if the employees or the assistants, they know what they should do. You don't have to tell. They already, Prabhupada, what did Prabhupada say? There's, I think, 3 types of servants. One type of servant, the third-class servant, you tell him what to do, he will not do it. He will not follow. That's third class. Second class, you have to tell him all the time what to do. He will do. But the first class servant, he will do before the master tells you. He will find out how to satisfy. So we should try to become a little bit, as we make advancement, we become a little bit more independent in our service. And then you can also expand the movement. If I remember Ajit from Australia, he told me something about management, said that now the managers has to listen. He said that there is something called bottleneck management. You have a bottle and the neck, you know. You have a bottle and the neck, you know, where the liquid goes out a little. This is the neck. So he said bottleneck management means everything passes through one person. Bottleneck management means everything passes through one person or two persons. Then not much can pass through the neck. So the project will become limited if everything has to go through one person. He said like one person can maybe manage 8 or 9 people. Then you have to delegate. At one point you have to delegate and you have to trust other people and give them freedom and responsibility. So he has a big project in Australia. I think he has 200 devotees in that project. Right? He said like 200, I think. I think it's something like that, big project. So anyway, the point is that we have to hear about Krishna. We have to follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga, and everything will be clear for us how to make further progress, because we cannot stay in one place forever. We have to move on, always move on. Krishna consciousness is not static, it's dynamic. Even in the spiritual world, people make spiritual advancement. So, and we can say also, I remember Smita Krishna Swami told me once that you should not remain brahmachari forever. He said, either you advance to the grihastha ashram or to the sannyas ashram. So which one? most probably you advance to the grihastha ashram. So we should be moving on, we should be making progress. And that's all I have to say. Is there any questions? Did you understand? Yeah.
Regarding doing what you like to do, one has to also become purified enough to be ready to admit what I like to do.
Yeah.
Because what is, I may like to Brahman because it's prestigious. Everybody wants to be Brahman. Because, the Brahmana, then you're on the top of the hierarchy. So you may like that.
Yeah.
But that's not what it means to do what you like to do.
Yeah.
It means what is your actual inclination, regardless of what sense gratification, what fame, profit, and distinction it brings you.
Mm.
You like to do agriculture, for instance, it's not very prestigious. So therefore many people, even though this is actually what in their hearts they like to do, what they are good at, they don't like to do it because then you're just a dirty farmer. One has to be honest enough to admit what I like to do.
Mm. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's a good point. We do everything better if we do what is our nature. We will be able to serve Krishna efficiently and with our full contribution. Just pretending to be something we are not. We just admit what we are. Okay, I may be just a sweeper in the street. Jai. That's much more advanced to admit than to be, I think Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad Gita in a purport.
Better to be a sincere sweeper in the street than a charlatan meditator.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes a show for wanton living.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
You talk about the mode of goodness, ignorance, and truth, and it just reflected in my mind that Prabhupada gave us the whole process. So why, if we just follow it, meaning maintaining it, we don't create anything new or something like that. Everything is okay. I mean, we just follow what the process, not just the process, but everything. We only follow Prabhupada.
But that's good. But then you see Prabhupada's books, how many different things he's writing about what we are supposed to do. It's not that I have to do everything Prabhupada says in the books. It's too much. You have to find out what is my role, what am I supposed to be. I'm not going to do this. It says so many things in Prabhupada's books, but I'm not going to take sannyas, but I'm going to do this. So that means you cannot figure this out alone. You need to have a spiritual master who can he can see an advanced devotee or a teacher. He can see our heart. He can see very early, even in the kindergarten. You can see. I worked in kindergartens, and some kids, they were 2-3 years old. You can see, okay, he's going to be a woodcutter. He has a plastic chainsaw. He sleeps with this at night. He was sleeping with his father's drill, electric drill. And one time I borrowed this drill from the father, and the kid was crying all night. Where's my drill? You can see that, he's going to be some kind of practical person. So if the good teachers, they can very early. That's why Gurukul is very important. Vishnu Jan went to Gurukul in Mayapur. So that, or at least it's never too late, We are a little bit late beginners. Brahmachari, we start at 20, 25. We're supposed to start at 5. I mean, the higher castes are supposed to start, the higher classes. They go to Gurukul. But we may not get so much training, but at least a few years. But we start late. But even late is better than never. So we need to open ourselves to an advanced devotee who, especially, it can be more than one, but especially one, and he will be able to give us practical guidance and encourage us in that direction. Okay. Work with cows or become a carpenter, whatever. The Brahmana, he's not only speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he's also teaching practical. You may have to take also, if you want to, because we are supposed to specialize. This is the last point, and I will stop. We are supposed to specialize. In Varnashram Dharma, we have to specialize. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to specialize in this, and somebody else is going to do that. So we cooperate. He is good at this, I'm good at this, we cooperate. And we can learn from many different people. We can learn from non-devotees also. If we become a little bit advanced, we can. Sometimes you have to, if you take an education, you learn some practical skill from the Karmi society. That's okay. Then you can use in Krishna's service. my spiritual master told me the same. He said, if you have, it can be a formal education or it can be some kind of training with professional people. If you have an education or some training and you also practice Krishna consciousness, you become very strong. Or you can say in Krishna, if you have Krishna, then you don't need anything else. Okay, that you can say like that. You have the one. We're speaking about ones and zeros. If you have many material things, opulences, you just have zeros. It's not really worth anything. It's temporary. If you just have one, that's better than many zeros. At least you have one. You have Krishna. But if you have Krishna and you can start putting zeros behind, it's very good, isn't it? So you can, you have Krishna, okay, you have Krishna first, but later you can put some zeros behind. Do it. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.